You're listening to the Darius Daniels Podcast.
Well, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Darius Daniels Podcast. Incredibly excited about today's episode. We are going there today as me and my co-hosts, Chastity and Dakari, talk to you about the life skill of putting people in their place. You don't want to miss this one. Get ready for a conversation for your transformation right here on the Darius Daniels Podcast. Well, what's up, family? Hope everybody's doing good. I'm excited about this episode today. Chastity, Dakari, what's up, y'all?
We in the building. What's up?
Yeah, we in the building. It's going down.
You sound like a radio host. We're in the building. It's going down right here.
Right here.
News podcast. What's up, y'all?
I like when you do that for some reason. I don't know.
Each and every Friday night, ladies free. But boy,
Can you do
That's
like,
not a church announcement.
It's not.
That is not a church. That's a different kind of announcement.
everybody free at church.
Yeah, everybody free at church before 12.
Before 12, when you get in before 12. After that, the offering going up.
After that, it's a seed offering.
Yeah.
It's an after 12 offering.
Hey, you know what I wanted to ask? Where did that idea come from where they start throwing money at the altar?
I don't know. Like what?
I'm just saying, I don't know.
Like he's a pastor.
Ask the pastor.
I don't know.
Let him get canceled.
There's a season we actually did it in our church. Years ago, we did it. I stopped it because I felt like it was a distraction. I think it sent. I'm not knocking anybody who does it.
Yeah.
For us and with our demographic and the people we were trying to reach, we just felt like it kind of sent a message we didn't want to send.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I stopped it. But I guess the idea is there are people who value the message in a unique way and is serving them well in a unique way. And I think that is giving people an opportunity to respond, not just with amens and hand clapping, but respond with expressions of generosity. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I had in mind when I allowed us to do it for a season, but I don't know what anybody else is thinking.
I walked up there and put money on the altar. I was just wondering where it came from.
Yeah, I don't do it now.
Yeah, I've never done it, but I never knew the reason for why people did it either.
But I also saw Pastor, like he just sea-walked, the Kurt walked right across the stage with it on the money. He was just
on the money. Get it.
I was like, okay.
I have a question. Do you know how to do
weird
like
stuff in church? I don't think we give explanations for.
I have a question for you. Do you know how to do other like voice impersonations, or is it just like
I can, but let's not try nothing.
No, I don't want
That
you
was
trying.
really random. We went from
because I was
walking
still on
money
that. Because I was still laughing in my head. I was. Yeah.
That was in your spirit, wasn't it? We went from crip walking on money to voice impersonation. Can you do Bernie Mac?
Not today, but we can't really do it on this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm gonna do Bernie, I gotta do
Bernie. Please don't do it.
Oh yeah, because they gonna talk about you. So yeah, we don't even want to put you out there.
No,
like
I
that.
don't want you to do Bernie. I'm not even worried about the audience. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
Because he would do Bernie.
Yeah.
Who?
Unfiltered. Bernie.
Unfiltered.
Yes.
You can't do Bernie.
Oh yeah, you can't do Bernie.
Like the regular TV. What's up, America? Bernie. You know, like when he was in front of the TV. You got to do Kings of Comedy. Bernie. Probably the best. That was so cool too.
The Kings of Comedy.
No, I'm talking about Bernie's part. That last one. That was so cool. He was the last one at the Kings of Comedy. I think his set was the best.
Oh really?
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, he did. Cause who was on it?
I mean, all of them. I liked all of them when it came out. It was like a really unique idea. But yeah, missing Bernie, man. Rest in peace to Bernie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's not do that unfiltered impression.
We just want to do Bernie Sanders.
All you need is a coat and some mittens.
You just need to sit like him. That's all. And a mask.
You need a coat and some mittens.
That's so funny.
Don't email us. We're not being political. Somebody's going to say, I can't believe you're talking about the radical left.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
It's a joke, everybody.
Isn't it crazy how they went viral, though?
We're apolitical podcast.
Yeah. It's
nonpartisan podcast.
I just can't believe they always like add titles in front of people, like radical this.
Oh
Like,
yeah, radical left.
Raphael. And I was like, I actually laughed. I was like, that was kind of funny. Like, why would they do that?
Hey, let me tell you what my goddaughter did. Kids are so like impressionable. So I guess that was kind of the language they were using, like with the Georgia Senate race or whatever, like radical left.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but radical left, something like that. And so my goddaughter, she's super young. And so she came to her mom. Her mom told me, she said, she saw a picture. She's like, oh, that's radical left. Because she thought that was a part of his name. That's radical left.
I think it was radical liberal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I could be wrong, but it's,
Yeah.
radical left. Radical
That's
left.
crazy.
Yeah. That's a super. That is. I'm telling you, politics is more volatile than religion.
Yeah.
I think it really is some people's religion. They don't know it though.
Yeah.
But that is more sensitive
Yeah.
than religion. Like you can speak something that's heresy.
Yeah.
And people won't unaffiliate with you.
Yeah.
But if you say anything
That politics?
that like in any way challenges their political ideology, like it doesn't even matter how rational you are. You know what I mean? If you say anything that challenges people's political ideology on the right or left, then it's like you canceled forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. That is more volatile than religion. And then issues of like justice. You talk about anything justice related.
Absolutely.
That's more volatile than religion. Like you can't even say people should be treated equally. It's like stop spewing that leftist garbage.
Yeah,
no, it's just like
we just want equal rights.
Yeah.
We just want equal rights. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody should eat today.
Equally.
No one should eat.
Yeah, you socialists.
Yeah, right.
Right. Where'd you get that from?
You communists.
Right.
Yeah, and it's weird because I feel like, on both sides of the aisle, you've got, so one reality is this, like, yes, you can't ignore the existential impact that like culture and laws and practices have on people's lives. Then on the other side, you can't negate the importance of personal responsibility.
Absolutely.
Right. And to some degree, not being at the mercy of a system, but like experiencing a degree of empowerment that you can kind of overcome whatever obstacles are set before you. So it's like, I don't know, even if you look at it that way, people will say, you weak, you won't pick a side, you scared. It's like, I just try to be objective. But I just try to say, hey, that came from that side. I think that's right.
Yeah.
That came from that side. I think that's right too.
Yeah.
And I guess all of this is a part of, I guess everybody want to put each other in their place, right?
Yeah.
To some degree, like people want to. That was nice. You say you segued to that?
Yeah.
Okay. That was pretty cool. That's not a radio personality impression, but it's equally as impressive.
Do it one more time.
Nah.
Run it back one time.
Right. Yeah, that's not the kind of put people in their place that we're going to talk about today. But yeah, it's weird because people will put you in a place.
Yes.
Won't they?
Yes, they will.
Yeah, that's a completely different conversation. But I talked about like the volatility of the political space, and that does affect people's relationships from time to time. And it's one of many things that affects relationships. And I feel like I think I told y'all this a gazillion times. If you've heard me speak, talk, whatever, relationship management is life management.
Yeah,
that's a life skill.
It is.
That's not a personality.
Yes.
Yep.
That's like, I think sometimes we think if somebody's nice, they're good at relationships.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
It just
They're
means
just
they're
nice.
nice.
Nice. Yeah.
You're just
That's
nice. You're just nice
Yeah.
to people.
Because I've seen it happen in church before too. And a lot of times when I speak of church, because I worked in ministry for a lot of years, but I remember once we had this customer service piece about like how to be more hospitable for guests. And I remember sharing. People were like, well, we don't need to be hospitable because such and such is nice, and we just put her on the door. And I'm like, that's totally different.
Wow.
It's like,
So
because she's nice doesn't mean she can
needs to
really
be on the door.
bring people, have them seated in certain places. And so many, so like you said, nice doesn't change a lot,
I was reading this book and I read this quote. It kind of rocked me.
What?
It was just that most people want to be successful and happy, but you can't be successful. You can't get to a destination called success and happiness if you're taking a road called nice.
Yeah,
The whole the book is about like boundaries and things of that particular nature, and that like his whole argument is that the opposite of nice is not mean.
Yeah.
The opposite of nice is authentic.
It's authentic.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes to do what's best for you, you don't have to be rude, but some stuff is like, you know, if it's like, yeah, never caught, I don't think I need to talk to you again.
Yeah.
That's not nice. You can say it in a kind way. That's not nice. But I feel like if people are going to reach their potential in their character and in their competence, they got to learn that skill of relationship management. And that's what we're going to have a conversation about today.
I'm excited about this one.
People in their place. Are y'all ready for this?
Man. Yes,
And that
let's
would have
go.
been a dope beat up under that, how you said
A dope
that.
beat.
I know
Do
it
it.
was.
Try it again. Cut.
I can't.
Okay. Action.
I can't see when it's real and authentic, when it comes with the spirit.
In the spirit.
Huh? Let me cross my legs.
Oh gosh.
When
Put
the
your voice
spirit,
on.
when the spirit, daughter,
Get me out of here.
when the spirit, daughter. Yeah, this is a conversation we need to have. It's critical for you professionally. It's critical for you personally. We want to help you put people in their place. Stay tuned. That's coming up next, right here on the Darius Daniels Podcast. What's up, everybody? Man, I'm so excited about this conversation we're going to have today, centered around this subject of putting people in their place. I'm going to tell you something. I know this is probably hard for some people to digest, but I just found it to be true. Your greatest asset in life is your relationship.
Yeah.
Starting with your relationship with God and then your relationship with others. It's your greatest asset in life. And you know, this is one of the things that I believe. I feel like when something is like super consequential to your well-being, that's not an area you can afford to be like elementary in the way that you understand it and operate in it. And we're gonna talk about some of the hard stuff today, because if people are gonna scale in business or experience elevation professionally or just wanna prosper personally, they've gotta manage this skill of putting people in their place.
Absolutely. Isn't that what you wanted to call your book? For people who don't know that?
Oh, yes. That's what I wanted relational intelligence to be.
So say more about it. What happened?
Yeah. Well, one, when I was deciding, it came down to two publishers I was deciding to go with. And so when the first publisher I was having my last meetings with two of them, and one was just like really frank, to the point, like, we love the book, but I don't want to call it that. I want to call it Relational Intelligence. Right. So then I had another meeting a couple of days later with another publisher, and these two publishers aren't talking about me.
Yeah.
And the other publisher, they weren't as forthright, but they said the same thing. So when I had two different people say, all right, we should probably call this relational intelligence instead of put people in their place, I felt like, all right, I need to take that into consideration, because people might think when I say put people in their place, like you need to put people in their place, and you need to, but you do need to do that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's
you know what I mean?
So because you wanted to title your book "Putting People in Their Places," what was your angle with it? Like, what did you mean about that? Like,
So this is about to sound really harsh. It's
you
kind,
always
but
give
it's not
that
nice.
disclaimer before you say something.
Because I'm
you know
aware
we're gonna
of,
get an email.
I'm aware of, well, we get those anyway, but I'm aware of how, in comments, but I'm aware of how some people interpret things. So I like to try to sometimes brace people. Anybody ever, well, not you, Dakar, anybody ever punch you in the shoulder? I hope nobody's punched you in the shoulder.
No.
Does anybody ever punch you in the shoulder or something? You know, growing up, they punch you in the chest and they don't tell you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's happened.
Yeah, it's like, yo, tell me first so I can brace myself.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes that's what I'm trying to do. But this is what I'm saying. I feel like everybody, not everybody, but some people may have a place in your life, but they don't have the same place.
That's good.
And if you're going to thrive personally and professionally, you have to put them in the place that they're supposed to be in, not just the place they desire to be in.
Yeah.
I like that.
And so the angle of the book was that. It was like really having the assertiveness, not aggressiveness, but the assertiveness to take responsibility for what kind of relationships you have with people, what kind of access you give them, what kind of expectations you have of them, and what kind of investment you're willing to make in them. Just because some people desire an investment or demand an investment doesn't mean they deserve one.
Yeah.
Love is not earned. You can't earn love. Like we're supposed to freely give love to everybody.
Yeah.
But an investment, that's a response. An investment is a response to something you discern about a person, where you feel like I am being a good steward of my time, talent, or treasure by making an investment here. Not to do so is what Jesus would say. You casting your pearls before swine.
Yeah. See, and I don't really feel like I need to give a disclaimer, but it's you just said something about the access, because I think regardless of where people see you, there are levels to friendships, right? There are levels to relationships.
Yeah,
and sometimes people, because they're close to you, whether it's your family, whether it's those close friends, relationships, whatever, they abuse access. And they don't see it as abuse, but it's like a sense of entitlement. So it's because you think you have access to me that you can get me to do this, or I have to respond like this, or I have to do this, or I have to give you what you want. And no, I'm not doing that. So talk a little bit about that and why it's important to create like that standard for the people who are around you and the access that they have to you.
Yeah. So this is what I found, at least for me. Standard is the right word. It's just, some people just perceive it as like offensive.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so I don't meet your standard. So to me, it's like more like circles.
I like that. Yeah.
So like, okay, there are circles of relationship. And I think it goes back to something we talked about on a previous episode, like the difference between the ideal and the real. And like ideally, you wouldn't want people to, like you wouldn't want to have entitlement in any relationship, and you wouldn't want people to have a sense of entitlement. But realistically, they do. And I just think one key, man, it's so important. I think one key is you determining, you making a decision that you're going to be okay. Knowing I'm constantly going to be disappointing people. By refusing to always, watch this, make an idol out of their sense of entitlement. Like this, I mean, we could talk about strategies, I guess, but I think it's going to be different strokes for different folks. The key is, no matter what approach you take, the key is resolving within yourself that I'm going to have to live with knowing I'm going to disappoint some people. Because that entitlement is going to come, you mentioned personally, but that entitlement can come professionally too. Let's say if you're starting a business, the staff is small, everybody's tight, it's just the family. And then as the business begins to scale, layers get created. Processes and systems get put in place. And then there are people who were kind of grinded it out from the beginning.
It's like, what's this?
You kind of feel like, what is this? What do you mean I have to talk to somebody before I
this don't apply to me. This don't apply to me.
I was grandfathered in.
And it doesn't mean you don't.
Grandfathered in, exactly.
Doesn't
and
mean
that's
they're bad
again
people.
abusing that access and the sense of entitlement. That's exactly.
I think a lot of it too, when it comes to like really understanding where people should fit in your life, it comes with a high level of vulnerability, right? So there are certain individuals that I could be vulnerable with certain things, and it's not that I don't trust. So I have best friends, right? But they don't know some of the intimate things that I may want to share. It's not because they're not my best friend. It's because I can trust this person with this, not because I can't trust them with the information, but I can trust this person to help me carry it.
It's levels. It's levels to it.
It's levels to it. And I think that a lot of times people don't understand it. So like right now, we're in the process of planning the wedding. So everybody thinks they're supposed to be in the wedding.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like everybody that's a friend, right, if it was up to me, I have a slew, right?
Yeah.
Like men's warehouse have everybody in tux, right?
Yeah.
And they have everybody in dresses. But at the end of the day, what I shared was it's about the journey where we are and that's really important too. In relationships, where are you in your journey?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And who's able to walk with you in this process?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, so
It's that's what I call strategic connections.
yes.
And that's something I think that's we've had some conversations about this offline. I feel like that's a key part of putting people in their place, recognizing when God has orchestrated a strategic connection. And it's a difference between that and being an opportunist.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And simply chasing
Absolutely.
relationships and chasing people for the sake of gaining access to an opportunity.
Yep.
No, but it's like this discernment where you see and sense like, yo, this is a strategic connection where God has orchestrated this relationship and he wants to use this relationship in some way.
Yeah.
Right? For them to add value to me or open up opportunities for me. And because this is a strategic relationship, it might be an unusual relationship where it's an expression of favor, meaning that person may not necessarily need anything from their relationship with you or may not gain as much from their relationship with you, but they want to have a relationship with you. Yeah. And to me, that's favor. It's a favor of God. And like some people can recognize and discern that. And I just kind of feel like when you recognize and discern that, you got to steward that relationship differently.
Absolutely.
I really do. I think that's key. That's important.
What was one of the most challenging times for you? Let's just say professionally or, you know, whatever, where you've had to really say, I have to put like we're saying putting people in their place, but it's really a boundary.
Yeah.
You know, to say, all right, like and how did you navigate through that even when it was hard?
Yes. So shameless plug. I write about this in the book.
Relational Intelligence.
But anyway, so I feel like let's use the language like circles of relationships. I feel like in different seasons, my circles have changed. And by that, when I say my circles, not just like people in my circles, but like the types of circles. So let me give you an example, right? Yeah. So there was a season where it's like, let's say like on the personal side, like my relationship circles were just like layers of casual relationships, like friends, associates, and they were like different levels, right? Then I planted a church and then I needed a team to actually build the church. And there are circles of relationships within that. And then there are other endeavors that I started pursuing. And I needed teams for that. So this is what gets weird, right? That there are some people who might been like in one circle, let's say the friend, associate circle, who assume they should be in all of them. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Like, okay, like, yo,
it's like,
you are incredible to hang with, but we're not. So it's great when we hang together, but we're not called to build together.
Yeah.
Right? Because like what you need in company and what you need in a builder is something different. Totally it's like, different. Yo, we laugh and we joke and this is incredible. But if I'm building a house, it's like, but I need somebody who can work a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's always been hard because I care.
Yeah.
And I care how people feel. I care how I manage my own transitions. Like if I'm transitioning, I care about how I'm managing that. So I just kind of think one of the things that helped me is this. This is just my philosophy. With God, because with God, there's no win-lose in a relationship.
Right. I agree. I agree.
Some people may disagree with that, but this is what I believe. I believe that with God, there's no win-lose in a relationship. That even if you feel like you're losing something you'd rather keep, it's a win for you.
Yeah.
And it may take a minute for you to see this is a win for you. But I don't think God will have me to do something that's in my best interest at your expense because he loves us both equally.
Right.
So then if I got to transition or like if you don't come to this circle, it doesn't mean I love you any less. It doesn't mean God loves you any less. And it doesn't mean I'm managing you incorrectly. It means that if you don't come to this circle's not for you. And it's not in your best interest to be in this circle. So I got to love you enough to make the hard decisions, even if it means you don't like me for a season.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see.
Let me cross my leg on that.
I mean, that got really deep.
If you're going to cross your leg, you know what you got to say. There we go.
Go ahead, daughter.
So here's my thing.
You did good, son. I'm proud of you, son.
Y'all, it's how we do is play. We can never be serious.
I'm proud of you, son. It's my son in the Lord right here.
Son of the Lord. Right, lift your hands.
He knows.
Lift your hands and receive that.
Yeah.
Give me all the credit. I taught you everything you know.
Exactly.
Because that's how they do, huh?
You're nothing without God.
Yeah, right.
And me.
Right. Don't forget that part. I made you.
God made you, but I made you.
Right.
Give God the glory, but me all the credit.
Man, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a different conversation. Man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. Like
you probably got your train
the
of
spiritual parenting.
Yeah, I forgot my train of thought because I'm like, that is a different conversation, but it's still about putting people in their places. You know why?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know why I'm still on this entitlement thing. Maybe because I had a situation I recently dealt with. And it's like, you really feel entitled. But it goes back to us. I did lose my train of thought. That's crazy because y'all got the plan.
No.
Why y'all
I want the people to
playing?
make sure they understand. Some people aren't watching this, they're just listening. When I cross my legs, this is the bishop's cross. Yeah. This is in the church we grew up.
Some people don't understand that because they're not in the church world.
Yeah, they're in the church world.
Yeah.
So in the church I grew up in, like the preachers, they had the socks, they were like sheer.
Yep.
Then with the little lines going up, and the Stacey Adams or the Bostonians, this was the preacher pose. Yeah. So when they're reading your bio before they call you up to preach, you cross your legs like this and
you wait for it. Sitting in the pulpit wearing all that airness. Come on. Yeah, right.
I'll get off on it.
But they loving it though.
They loving it.
Not me.
They love it on the inside. Yeah, she's talking about me.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I lost my train of thought. I really did.
Chastity, it's on you. Come on.
You were talking about entitlement.
I know, but I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. Well,
you
I'm so
like
sorry.
this because it's relative to our conversation about the bishops and all of, so you really don't know.
Yeah. So listen, I'm a pastor, so we're not about to go.
No, but you knew,
anti-pastor.
you know what? You said something when you were talking about strategic connections.
Yeah.
And understanding the importance of those. And I don't think, or some of those who are listeners of Darius Daniels, they know this story, but some people don't, about how you were very intentional and strategic when you went and sought out your spiritual father, your pastor.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that and how you were strategic about that.
So this is something that I think we probably need to park at for a minute, because underneath that, so it's two things. One, I think it's important I believe relationships are your number one asset.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
There are some assets that you need that you have to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So that I think people get that financially, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I want some financial resources, I need to do some things to pursue them. I don't think we get that relationally, because I think we have a misunderstanding of like pride and independence and things of that particular nature. So we should not be, God did not create us to be codependent, but we are interdependent. Mm-hmm. So there's this whole 2 chapters in the book of Corinthians where Paul talks about, all right, all of us are different. He uses like body parts as an analogy, eyes, ears, whatever, and we all need each other. Mm-hmm. So I feel like for me, my pursuit was based on the recognition that there's something that I need that I see in someone else. Mm-hmm. And I need to pursue, not beg, but to be assertive and pursue that relationship and initiate it, because here's the facts. I'm not saying in some way I don't add value to my pastor's life, but I needed him more than he needed me.
Exactly. I get it.
Facts.
I get
He
it.
had a wisdom I did not have, experience that I did not have, and he had a life. Like not just accomplishments, he had a life. Because remember, greatness doesn't determine your mentors, your goals do. It's not their greatness, it's your goals. So somebody can be great in an area, that's not your goal.
That's good.
So you pursue mentorship from people whose greatness is in the area of your goals.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had like a great life. You know what I mean? I was like, this is healthy. He's centered. He's balanced, and he's also fruitful. Does that make sense? He's built something, and he's expanding. He's killing. He's got influence. Yet he's balanced. And so I recognized that, and I pursued it. And I feel like this is something people really got to get sometimes. It's the difference between being opportunistic and being assertive and pursuing the kinds of relationships that you need. I think I asked both of y'all to be a part of this podcast. Neither one of you came to me and said, let's be on the podcast.
Yeah.
I felt like I wanted to do something different, so I pursued it. So I think that's important for people to recognize that and then try to pursue. And if it doesn't work out, then recognize, okay, maybe it's not God, or maybe it's not the right time, and you move on.
I think you can, I like how you said, we can park it right here and talk about it, because I'm thinking for the listener that may have this they have goals, right? And they want to achieve, but there's this, you said it, pursuing, but there's a fear there, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, what happens if I'm rejected and pursuing this? And I'm so genuine, but the person that I'm pursuing has been burnt by so many that now the person that's genuine is coming along and they're saying, I would help you. I really want to, but I can't. And it's like, well, I'm doing what you told me.
Yeah.
So now the next time when I really should be pursuing it, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
How do you help that person?
It's really rejection, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at the heart of that is rejection. And I think everybody needs a rejection management plan.
Yes. That's good.
Like, rejection is inevitable.
Man.
You're going to deal with
You're gonna
rejection.
deal with it.
Jesus was rejected. He's perfect.
Yeah.
Right? So the question is not if you're going to be rejected, it's when, and what's your plan to manage rejection
How are you going to handle
so
it?
that you don't get a rejection infection. Well, you're talking about when you're gun shy and hesitant and all of that.
Yeah.
It's a rejection infection. You know what I mean?
Good.
And so I really feel like a person's got to customize that, but you can't take the rejection personally. You cannot take it personally. And so sometimes you got to recognize that, all right, yeah, this person might have been burned, so they're going to be a little bit more cautious, or they might not be open.
Yeah.
This is something else, though. And I know we aren't talking about mentors in general, but you need to, I'll just put it this way. It's very risky to be underneath the tutelage of a mentor that's not whole.
Wow.
That can turn into an exploitive and an abusive relationship really quickly. So if they're burned like that, I would tell you that wasn't rejection. If you pursue someone and they're burned and they reject you, that's not rejection, that's protection.
That's good.
Because if they accept you and mentor and coach you and they aren't whole,
from their brokenness.
oh gosh, that's not going to be a helpful experience for you. That's protection.
That's good.
Yeah, I totally agree. So even when it comes back to like the whole putting people in their places type thing, you have these different relationships with people. How do you know, and I know you talk about this a little bit in the book as well, but how do you know where to strategically put people that especially been with you for a long period of time?
Good.
So you talked about in the I guess corporate world, business world, whatever, when you're building something, you start out small. So you have those people that start with you.
Yeah.
But then as you grow, you start to identify some of those people are not in the place that they need to be, or they need to shift to different places, or they need to stay where they are. So how do you know how to strategically put people where they're supposed to be? Because you don't want people to be out of alignment.
Yeah,
right?
that's a great question. So this is what I think. I think, at least in my life, I got like two categories. There's the personal and the professional category. So I'm gonna start with the professional, then work to the personal. With the professional, it's really simple. I got people I build with and people I build on. Two different things. Now, the way I treat people, it's no different. But there are people I build with, meaning that I can sense this is potentially a temporary partnership. This is a person that's bringing a skill set and a gift to what we're building, but they're not really emotionally invested in it And they aren't really emotionally invested, and in my case, spiritually connected to me. So I need to recognize that so that I don't have, because put people in their place is all about your expectations of me.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So I align my expectations accordingly, meaning that I know if you get a better opportunity, you're probably going to take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't have long-term expectations of you, right? And that doesn't change the way I invest in you. I'm going to invest in you the same way in terms of training and mentorship, because John Maxwell says the only thing worse than training people and they leave is not training them and they stay. So to me, it's those two categories, right?
Man.
Some people I build with, all right, this is you bringing your gift. And then there's some people I bring on. It's like build on. No, you're gifted, but there's also a degree of buy-in. You believe in what we're doing.
Yeah.
You have a sense of call to what we're doing. You have a connection to it. You got a love for me. And so my expectation of that is going to be, I'm going to have a different kind of expectation in terms of longevity, not forever, but longevity.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make a different type of investment that may be more personal and emotional in nature.
Yeah.
Does
I
that
got to
make sense?
interject right here. So can you build with and build on with the same team or the same person? Like, can it be simultaneously done with one person?
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
the person you're building on, you got to be able to build with.
Well, okay, that's what I was
they got to
thinking.
bring skill. They got to bring
That's what I was
skill to
thinking.
the, and they have to understand that. So even if there's a personal connection that you have with the person needs to love you enough to know, all right, I got to steward this company, this church, this whatever well, and we're trying to build something.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the expertise, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you understand that I've got to find somebody who does, even if they don't have the kind of buy-in, et cetera, because we can't build the ceiling and then we get in the house and it fall down and people get hurt.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
good. Yeah.
Because I don't want to hurt people's lives because I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So yes, when you're building on people, they got the skill and the will. They got the competence and the connection. And so there's a different kind of investment with them. That's it, you know? But then on a personal, so you got build with and build on the professional side, but then on the personal side, it's really, to me, it's those categories. It's the friend, it's the associate, it's the assignment, and it's the advisor. And the fruit, I think everybody gets to define what that look like for you.
Yeah.
Like in my book, I write like 5 characteristics of a friend. That's just my 5 that I got from scripture. That might not be your 5.
Yeah.
You just need to know what yours are.
Yeah, I like that.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just need to know what yours are. And then as people demonstrate fruit that's consistent with that, then you put them in that space.
Ah, that's so good.
And so watch this. Fruit is seasonal though.
Yes, it is. Like,
You know what I mean?
real life,
So it's like, yo, when you're not bearing this fruit, it doesn't mean I don't love you, but it does mean that, and I think you can, you should shift people so gently and gingerly that they don't always know they've been shifted to another circle.
Yeah. That's cool.
You should love them that way.
I like that.
whew, I like that one too.
Yeah.
That's good right there.
I think this is key though, man. I think it's the thing that people are like really missing. And I'm telling you this, if you're in a professional space and you are trying to, I don't care if you're leading a church or a company, and you're trying to, you're trying to build with people like y'all, the data is showing, I'm seeing it in our churches, you got to have more than compensation. Like this generation, like let's go to Z. Z is not, even millennials, like there's one study that came out that said like millennials are going to be the first generation that did not exceed the previous generation in income.
Right.
Because they aren't driven
By money. Yeah.
by that. They need it, they want it. But in terms of work, quality of life,
It's quality of life.
work experience.
Quality of life.
Like, okay, not just, oh, I'm working for this company. What is the experience
Experience.
like? Yeah. How are you treating me?
Am
How you
at
treating
peace?
me?
Yeah, how you
How are
treating
you
me? Definitely.
treating
How you
me?
treating
Yeah.
me? That's
Let's
definitely
be clear.
important. Yeah. Am I
100%.
happy here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Absolutely.
days of people like subjecting themselves to a toxic environment
Man,
just for
over.
the sake of
doing
compensation,
it. Not doing
that's
it.
over. So I feel like, some people might be listening to this and thinking, oh man, this is just like weak, mamsy-pamsy talk. Nope. If you're gonna build something worth building and build it with people who can bring something to the table,
Yeah.
You got to know this skill. You got to know how to put people in the right places, and recognize and realize that people are your greatest asset.
Man,
Wow.
this is good.
1,000%.
That's so good. Wow.
Well, man, and listen, I enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
And I hope for those of you who are listening, it adds some value in your life and gets you thinking on a personal and a professional level about this skill of like relational intelligence. And I just want to reiterate this. If you are a leader, this is the key to retention. This is the key to holding on to good people. Treat them good.
Treat them good. And you can have, ain't no telling how long you'll have them, but treat them good now.
Man.
Take care of them.
Them good.
Do right by people. I sound like an old person. Do right now.
Wait a
Do
minute.
right by folks.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yes.
Amen.
For the listeners, he has his leg crossed.
I'm back in the bishop's pose.
Yeah.
Listen, man, y'all stay tuned for one of my favorite parts of the show. It's the Ask Dr. Darius section of the Darius Daniels podcast coming up next. Well, welcome to the Ask Dr. Darius section of the Darius Daniels podcast. Hey, we want this to be an interactive podcast, so we want to answer your questions. We want you to contribute to this show. So if you got a question you want me to answer, hey, ask me anything. You can email it to podcast@dariusdaniels.com. Podcast@dariusdaniels.com. And who knows, maybe we'll be answering your question right here on the Darius Daniels podcast. We've got a few questions that have come in today. I'm going to toss it over to Chastity. She's going to get us started.
Yes.
Chastity, let's go.
Before I ask the question, I have a question.
Amen.
Why is this your favorite segment of the show?
Because I feel like it is the segment where where I know for sure I'm actually serving the listener.
Oh, cool.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's dope.
So when we talk, all the other things that we talk about, these are things that we talk about or that we have a sense that our listeners need.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's always hitting the spot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I like this because I know, because we call this edutainment. We want it to be educational and entertaining at the same time, but I want it to add value.
Yeah.
And so when people ask me questions and I answer it, I know I'm adding
Yeah.
value.
And I think that's good for the listeners to know. So maybe that'll motivate them to keep sending in those questions.
Keep on sending the
Send
questions.
your questions.
Children.
All right. Yes. Okay. So Laura.
Men and women of God. Huh?
Go ahead on. Get it out. Get it out. Get it out.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
I'm all right.
I'm going from bishop
Is that
to
all
prophet.
right?
Yeah, I
I'm a
know.
prophet now.
You'll probably.
I see. Huh? Somebody's getting ready to send me a question.
It's the
I sense you're going to email it.
What are you going to email it to?
I'm seeing a P.
Oh.
Podcast at DariusDaniels.com. That's where it's coming. Watch it come to pass.
Watch it come to
Watch
pass.
it come to pass.
In Jesus' name.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Laura wants to know, what do you do to sharpen your professional skills as a leader?
Oh, man. Well, I'm actually so a couple of things. One is reading.
Okay.
So I have a reading regiment in the morning that makes up my devotional time. And as a part of what I read, I'm always reading something on leadership. So that's always in the rotation. So reading is one. Second thing is podcast listening. So this is going to sound so rigid, but on Tuesday is my leadership development day in terms of what I'm hearing audibly. So because on Tuesdays I have to lead. So that's my meeting. I mean, I lead all the time, but that's my meeting day. I'm in meetings all day. I'm leading my teams. So I want value to be added to my life on the day I need that the most.
I see.
So I'm not listening to a sermon on Tuesday. It's a podcast or some kind of
that's good.
YouTube interview or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that I do is periodically I do some kind of like certification, training in the corporate space. Because I get a different angle, I get a different perspective. And those are the things. I'm actually in one right now, and it's the best. Now, my doctorate is in leadership. but it is the best. Like this corporate training is the best leadership training I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
Dope.
Facts. Hands down. I'm learning so much.
More.
Yeah.
So much.
You know someone's going to ask this question, right? I'm getting ready to ask you.
And I can't give it to you unless the school, listen to me, wants to sow a seed into the ministry of the Darius Daniels podcast.
All
A
right.
sponsorship seed.
A sponsorship sheet.
Now, school, you know I'm in your class.
Net school?
You know I'm in there. If you want us to make mention of it, amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
You know, people did me like that with those ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
When I talked about those dairy-free ice cream sandwiches, you got
a lot of DMs.
Yes.
Comments,
Let's talk
and all those
offline
things.
about that because I like ice cream.
Oh, but the thing is, it's good. Like it's always been a brand that's out there, but people didn't really know that
glad
this
it's
was
dairy-free.
a dairy-free. It's so good.
I just blessed
Really
when
is.
I just blessed the people with
Can
it.
I get
you
it
know?
at Publix or?
Yeah, you can. We'll tell you
think so.
offline.
Yeah.
We'll tell you offline. Yep.
I caught that, by the way.
Yeah.
What?
The card. Next question.
Yeah. So look, this guy, his name is Beards by Shad. Wanted to know, what is your most frequently used emoji?
The card. This is an inside joke, family. Wow.
You know what I think would be a good idea? We may have to invite someone to a recording when we come here because we have too much fun, and I want somebody to experience that.
We should Zoom someone in
Yeah.
for the Q&A section.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should do that.
I think we had an idea of
We
doing
did.
that.
Yeah, we talked about
did.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's Zoom them in and let them ask the question so that
Yes.
the card does not have to ask.
The question.
I mean, Beards by Shad had a ballot.
We have too much fun here.
What's the
say
question?
it again.
What's the
You're talking about
question?
people who selling beard oil. What's the
We
question?
just want to know what the question is.
Beards by Shad want to know, what is your most frequently used emoji?
It's probably the
One with the beard?
Do they have a beard emoji? No, it's the pound. The pound one is probably the frequently used. It's probably
Do it again. Which one is it?
The pound. The fist.
You do that in real life right now too. You like you
Yes.
see people like
Don't. Huh? Stay close to Jesus. Stay 6 feet from me.
well,
So the pound is we're not handshaking right now.
you guys know that the emojis have meanings, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we kind of misinterpret.
Yeah, because
what
I
it
found
really
out like
means.
this one wasn't like, you remember the one with both hands? It was
Yeah.
like, it wasn't like a hallelujah or a church one.
Well, you know, the wave is really not a wave. It's like a smack.
Oh, wow.
See, but it's how you redeem it.
There it is.
Whew, I'm
Because
sitting
God
here
is a
with
redeemer.
Yeah.
two.
Huh?
Yeah.
He'll take something that you intended to use one way and he'll use it another.
Hallelujah.
I don't hear people talking back to me while I
They
preach.
not.
They
They
not
not
talking
talking
back.
back to you. They're not talking back to you. All right. I have a question. This is Tony. Tony wants to know if you were to build another company. Tony, how you know how many companies you got? But okay.
We're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't
We
know
are.
Tony was doing something. Okay, so Tony wants to know if you were to build another company, what are the greatest values you'd focus on?
Oh, that's a great question. And so there are a few. And I do believe in building companies because I believe companies, whether for-profit or nonprofit, are delivery systems of value. They're how you add value to people. And so because I want to do that, because my life's mission and purpose is to do that, is to help people experience change, I'm all about that. And so I think there are a few things that come to my mind that I would say, this is not in like order of importance, but one of the things that I would say 1,000% that I would build on is, it's going to sound weird, but I want to create like a Chick-fil-A culture.
I like that.
That doesn't sound weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this is what I mean by that when I say Chick-fil-A. It is a culture of excellence that feels authentic. So when they say my pleasure, I feel like they mean
They
it.
mean
really
it.
do.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
I don't know if they mean it or not.
No,
I'm saying, I feel like
it
they
sounds
mean
like it in their
Yes.
voice.
Feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
it. Yeah. It sounds like when I have, when I'm interacting with anybody at their company, I don't feel like they feel like I'm bothering them. It's like,
Right.
I'm about to compensate the company for you know what I
No,
mean?
sorry.
Why are you here to give
When I pull
the
up-
company some money that's paying,
Yeah.
that's paying me. So I feel like a culture of excellence that's authentic would be really important to me. And what would that mean? It means that building a team or building into the team, excellence as a personal life value.
Yeah, that's good.
Because what I found is it's really hard to create a culture of excellence if people personally don't have excellence as a life value.
Yeah. I
That
see that.
giving my best is a value. Being my best is a value. Looking my best is not vanity, it's a value.
Yeah.
So that's one, like excellence without authenticity. Two, I would want a culture of excellence and with it being authentic. Two, I would want a culture of like continuous learning.
Yeah.
I want to build that. And the reason I say that is because I'm one. I want to be a lifelong learner. So I think it's kind of hard for people to partner with me if they aren't committed to that. Because I always want to grow. And the next thing I think I would probably build on is, I think we're doing it now, but like I would lean heavy into just like huge investment in terms of technology.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
I mean, especially for the types of companies I would build, and it's making sure that I'm getting the best of the best and making sure that people understand that are a part of our team, that people understand that you don't have to be a techie, but you're going to have to be proficient.
Absolutely.
in
It's the
this
way of the
area.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now.
So those would kind of be the three things that come to my mind off the top of my head. That was an interesting question. It's a great question, though.
Yeah.
I think all the questions are great. Even the question from Beards by Shad. If
Yeah.
you need your beards done, see Shad.
I wonder, does
if
he
you
have a
need beard
website?
oil, see Shad.
That
If he
could-
Go to
If he
Beards
doesn't,
by
he should get
Shad.
one.
Yeah, because that can really be a
and
business
get
move, right?
Your
Yeah.
beard.
Like
Get
beard
your beard
oils.
today. Get beard weaves today.
Beard
Beard
what?
weave.
Wait, what? Beard what?
Beard weaves.
Like
They've
extensions.
got beard weaves now. You do know that, right?
I did not
You
know
do know
that.
I can go get a beard tonight.
No.
Oh, yeah, you can. You can.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
can
thought
go,
about getting
I
one.
can go get
You
some
thought
hair
about getting
tonight.
one?
Yeah.
I can go get some hair tonight.
Yeah.
I can go get some waves tonight.
Yeah.
I did not know that
Yes,
they sell
they
beards.
glue it on your head like a.
Same way they do
Well, I
beard.
know the head stuff, but I didn't
Yes.
know
I
the facial
saw a guy
part.
do it for his sons recently on it was on
Who's
social media.
doing that?
Well, his sons wanted it just to see, and they
Yeah.
did it.
I'm gonna have a beard next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
By Shad.
By Shaw.
By Shad.
Listen, everybody, we want your questions right here on the podcast. I want you to email us at podcast@DariusDaniels.com. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, Lord Thirst coming up on the screen, you will see the email address, but that's podcast@DariusDaniels.com. Hey, send your questions, and who knows, we may be answering it right here on the Darius Daniels podcast. Thank you all so much for subscribing and supporting and being a part of this podcast, whether you are listening on Google or Apple or watching on YouTube. We hope these conversations are contributing to your transformation. So we want you to like, share, spread the word, and we'll see you next time right here on the Darius Daniels podcast. God bless your children. Amen.